Hello, schema therapy and team cohesiveness. I'm here with Megan Fry, who's going to talk to us about this very interesting topic.
Thanks, Tena. Thanks for having me here tonight. It's good to be here with everyone. I've become really interested in teams lately, and so I thought I'd jump on and share a little bit about my investigations and interest in this area. Obviously, a lot of my work is with military people, as most people know, and I like to consider and explore the psychological impacts of service. And more recently, I'm starting to think about, well, how can we make a healthy soldier? How can we train soldiers to be more effective and more functional? And one of the questions, therefore, is, well, how do we get the team to function more effectively and better? So team dynamics and how to make teams function and be more cohesive is become a bit of an interest. And I came across Dr. David Bernstein's amazing work, and he has a couple of great concepts that I thought I'd share tonight. So I guess it's imagining the idea that we can help people in an organization, in a team, even just more generally in society, be more aware of schema modes and needs. Schema modes and schema core needs are something that is natural and essential to all of us. We all have modes and we all have needs. So it's considering the concept around developing awareness around schemas and needs, and then in particularly introducing that into specific organizations and teams. Because when we can be aware of core emotional needs, then we can meet those needs. So we can be more empathic and help other people feel more valued and recognized and respected. And when we do that, then we're decreasing mode activation and we're increasing connection and safety, which in its most basic form is what we're all after. So by thinking about this concept, then we can start to integrate our core principles of schema therapy into more everyday situations, which I find super exciting. So one of the techniques that David's developed is something called the ORI circle. And it's based off a military term called the OODA loop. But the ORI circle is where we go through the acronym. So ORI, O-R-R-I, O stands for observe. So by teaching people about schema modes, and David uses his schema I mode cards, which are fantastic. If you haven't seen them, I do recommend them. But you teach people to observe what mode is happening here. When I'm in this interaction in my team or in my workplace, what mode might be showing up? So we're just using our observing skills, our curious scientist, and just observing what mode might be present here. And then the two R's stand for reflect and recruit. So we're reflecting, there's this interaction in the team happening, and I'm observing that someone's probably in a mode, and then I'm reflecting on what is this evoking in me? What is this bringing out in me? And how can I recruit my healthy adult to help me deal with this situation? So I'm being aware that there's a mode activated in someone else, and that's probably activating a mode in me. Now, without this self-awareness and observation and reflection, we get into that whole mode cycle. Well, that person's in a mode, it's triggered me, and now I'm in a mode, and off we go to unhealthy land where we have unhealthy work dynamics and
it's like it slows it down. You know,
exactly.
this observing and reflecting, and I guess it's sort of building insight that when other people are in modes, we get into modes as well.
Exactly. So yeah, we're trying to slow that process down by just more self-awareness, which we all need. So we observe the mode, we reflect, what's this activating in me, we recruit our healthy adult, and then we intervene in the situation. So the intervention that we can then teach people is concepts around limited reparenting, around empathic confrontation, around limit setting, and sometimes even some deflection, because sometimes some avoidance can actually be healthy and appropriate and adaptive. So that's the ORI circle. And we can introduce the ORI circle into teams and organizations by introducing the concepts of core needs and schema modes. And by doing that, we can develop the healthy self, our healthy self, where we have self-awareness, we have acceptance for our own modes, we are able to, as you say, just slow on down, notice and observe, and then come back into the interaction with the person in the team or in the organization, and then just think about, actually, how do we want to handle that? Instead of just reacting with the mode, we just slow it all down and really come to think about our interaction and how we actually want to respond.
And is the idea that you do this with people who are not necessarily in individual schema therapy? This is just everyday people in everyday teams. So it's really generalizing it to broadly, to organizations. I love it.
It's generalizing it to society. A simple way to develop self-awareness by just noticing modes, others and self, and remembering core needs to be able to facilitate, at the very basic sense, connection. We know how important safety and connection is. It's the core of our human experience. As Brene Brown, it's the center of vulnerability and meaning and purpose. So any way that we can facilitate connection, I think, is amazing. And just by having this awareness of needs and modes allows us to do that. So,
and I love that, because it gives them a real way of, it operationalizes it.
Exactly.
It's not this
really
fluffy kind
terms.
of concept, and it gives people some steps. I mean, that's great. You could even use this in individual work. I love it.
Yeah, exactly. It's a very simple strategy just to strengthen that healthy adult, to get the individual to take away. So one of the other important concepts of David's when working with teams is something about strengths. And it's about noticing, what strengths do I have, but also what strengths does the other person have? How much in our work, Tena, do we think about the strengths of our clients? Not enough.
Not enough. That's exactly the word that came into my mind. And I love the concept of getting them to think about other people's strengths, because then it's not egocentric.
Exactly. Yeah. David's got this great questionnaire. It's called a strengths checklist. And you actually go through and you can consider your strengths and circle them. And that directly aligns with David's qualities of a healthy adult. So also in his IMO cards, he has these qualities of a healthy adult. And again, we can really start to conceptualize, what is a healthy adult? What are my strengths? How can I build on the capacity in me, so I know my strengths? And how can I build on the capacity in my clients as well? Or in the team and the organization. So that strength-based approach is really exciting and important, because it facilitates connection, it facilitates this concept of a healthy adult, a healthy team, and the things that we need to do to work more cohesively.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah. Thank you. So I think we had Matt's question online that we got about teams and organization. How do you break them out of coping modes and even sell the idea? Well, hopefully I've answered that question, Matt, with the ORI circle, because how do we break them out of it? We teach them. Everyone's got modes. Everybody's got needs. We can observe, we can reflect, we can develop our healthy adult, and we can teach them the basic skills that we need for interpersonal relations and social interactions. And the buy-in comes because we can de-escalate situations and improve healthy functioning. So hopefully I've answered Matt's question.
Lovely. Well, I had a question. How do you improve group functioning or team cohesiveness when the boss is a narcissist? And they
always a difficult one,
and they might have, the self-aggrandizing mode, some of the overcompensating modes, bully attack, perhaps. Enlighten us, Megan.
I think it's tricky when the boss is a narcissist, because in any organization or team, we need the whole team to be on board. So I guess what we're hoping for, if we're going to change the dynamic in the team, that the boss is going to be on board with this idea. And therefore, we've got to develop, again, the self-awareness. So we all have these different parts. We need to have the acceptance of the different parts. Remember, every part has a function and a meaning and a purpose. And then we need to implement, I mean, particularly with narcissism, when we have those overcompensating coping modes, one of the most important things is limit setting. And so it does come down to us setting our limits and our boundaries and using our empathic confrontation, which David talks about the stop technique for that, where we're just saying, you know, hey, this isn't okay. You know, there's this side of you that's making me feel unsafe or incompetent or not wanting to be at work today. I want to help you, but unless I can, you know, but I can't unless we're both safe here. And right now I'm not feeling that safety. So it is about having that mode awareness and coming back to the core needs and remembering the importance of respect and how can we as the individual convey that whilst accepting their modes and using empathic confrontation.
Yeah, it makes so much sense. I mean, it's definitely it's like generalizing what's done in the room.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. But taking it out to just more the interpersonal space, you know, and developing those interpersonal skills in an easy way. And I guess, you know, that's the exciting thing. So through these concepts that I've learned from David, he's developed this wonderful program called SafePath. And we are running our next course for English in June. David developed it over the past 10 years, and it's fundamentally being used in the Netherlands and a little bit in some other countries and rolled out. Came out to Australia last year, which was when the first time I did the training. And what I love about it is how you can teach modes and needs to people with no schema therapy background. Like,
hooray!
like I was gobsmacked. I was in this online forum with these people that work with that were with New South Wales Corrections, and I'm literally watching these people understand schema modes and then working out how to respond and what to do with that. And my mind was blown. I'm like, that is incredible that we can teach so easily the concepts of modes and what to do with them in the workplace.
And that really shows how intuitive schemas and modes are, that it's the kind of thing that people resonate with.
Yeah, because it just makes sense.
Yeah.
And then we can take something that is so complex, but actually so simple, and turn it into our complex work that we do into something that can be used just in an everyday situation, like in an organization. So I think it's super exciting. The training is super fun. It's got a very much a fun element as well as the serious element of understanding the modes and dealing with anger and overcompensating coping modes. The training covers that. And part of the SafePath training is to offer coaching and support to develop this healthy team functioning in an ongoing process. So if you're interested in finding out more about this, I encourage you to join us for our training in June. Tena's going to put some info in the comment section and our brochure. And yeah, I hope more people will jump on board with this awesome training.
It sounds super exciting. I look forward to hearing more. Thank you so much, Megan. Thanks for joining us.
Excellent. I'm really pleased to be here, and thanks for the opportunity to share tonight.
Pleasure. Bye.
Bye.